Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back to Side Hustle Enterprise. I'm your favorite host, John Maz. Now, today's video, we're going to be talking about the Antminer L5 made by Bitmain. This is a very special piece of equipment that we are lucky to have gotten our hands on here at Coastal Crypto Mining Farm. Now, if you're new to the channel, I like to cover all sorts of different things, cryptocurrency being one of them, personal finance, my journey for financial freedom, whether it be stock market investing, crypto, DeFi, you name it. I try to cover it and help out and share my journey with you guys. Now, if you are interested in joining the conversation, I encourage you guys to check out the link in the description down below for Discord or Patreon and help support the channel and join the community and talk about what you have going on. Now, let's dive into it. We're going to be focusing today's video on, like I said, the L5. Now, this is, in my opinion, another unicorn piece of ASIC mining equipment. It was built by Bitmain for a specific mining farm, and it was never released to the general public. It was only released to that mining farm. It was a custom ordered piece of equipment. But now that that farm is upgrading, they are on the market and we've gotten access to them. Like I said, the supply is limited. If you are interested in them, they're available at coastalcryptomining.com. And I hope you like what you guys see. I know I've been very impressed with this piece of equipment. We're going to take a look at the GUI, the online portal into the miner. We're going to be comparing hash rate to the power consumption. Right off the bat, I can tell you that it is outperforming the L3s and the L3 hand over fist. We're seeing great hash rates in comparison to power consumption. Now, other machines similar to this would be, say, the Goldshell X5, which I made a video about previously. There are other machines similar, the A6 being one of them, not my favorite by Innosilica. Lots of problems there. But overall, so far, knock on wood, this has been a phenomenal machine by Bitmain. So let's take a look at the GUI. Let's see what kind of hash rate we're going and do some calculations to see what kind of power we're using versus amperage. Now, keep in mind that here at the Coastal Crypto Mining Farm, we are using 240 volt service for all of our equipment. I'll take you guys out there in a second when we get ready to pull the machine from the farm. You can see what kind of power setup we're using, the PDU systems that we've built, and how we're getting them power to the machines and monitoring all of our machines throughout the farm. So stick around for that. Again, if you like what you see, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, and of course, let me know what you guys think and always join the conversation. So let's take a look at that GUI. Okay guys, so here it is. Let's do a quick refresh on the page itself. This is the original Antminer firmware. I haven't had any luck really finding additional firmware for this miner. This is the L5. We've been hashing at 1.4 gigahash or 1,477 megahash for about 2 days so far on this piece of equipment. We're, standard chip settings here. I only have one bad chip, and I think that just needs some tuning to get that thing to come back to life. Now, we are seeing very even hash rates across all four boards, even with that single bad chip. We're 370, 362, 372 in that range. Again, here are the chip temperatures right now. It's about 65 degrees Fahrenheit in the farm, and these chipsets are about between 50 and say 49 degrees Celsius. So they are running a little hot in comparison to some of my push-pull miners like the L3, where it has an intake and an exhaust fan. You'll see what I'm talking about here in a second with the L5s. It only has an inlet or an intake fans on the miners themselves. Now, chip temperature wise, we have hash rate, we have hardware errors, frequency, and so on. What we're not seeing on this GUI, like we would see on, say, a third-party firmware, would be the watt consumption. Now, these machines have a few settings. This one in particular, we can take a look at miner configuration, advanced settings, and it has a few different modes to run on. Now, I have it just set on normal mode. Turbo mode, I think we'd maybe get 100 extra mega hash. Currently, we're not running on the full PCIe ports on this miner. This miner does use an AP or APW, whatever it is, bit main power supply for 1800 watts. Now, that's all well and great, but there are 3 individual PCIe 6-pin ports on each hash board. So we have 3, 6, 12 total PCIe ports plus the control board. So we need 13 of these power ports to get the full, in my opinion, the full hash rate out of this machine. Now, as I've stated in previous videos, you can run these machines on less PCIe ports or less inputs for power. We've run the L3s, for example, with 1 PCIe on each board versus the 2 that is installed on them. Again, this is an example of it where we are running 2 PCIe power ports or power inputs versus the 3 that are installed on the hash boards. And we're getting pretty respectable hash rates, in my opinion. Now, we are not maxed out on this power supply. I just pulled some numbers on and I'll share that with you guys. We're getting around 1420 to 1438 watts per miner at 1400 mega hash. That is crazy in comparison to what we were getting with the L3 Plus and the L3 Plus Plus, closer to 1300 watts at only maybe 720 mega hash. So we're getting almost double the hashing rate for just a little bit more power consumption. And that is a great, back and forth, if you will, that I think this machine kind of buries the L3 Plus. Now, we've talked about the X5 is a gold shell machine that does very similar to this kind of hash rate. The X5 is similar in shape to the L3 Plus Plus. It is a little bit longer. There are a few more chips, but it does run within the gigahash range. We're not seeing 1.4 gigahash. We're seeing between 8 mega hash and 1 gigahash with the same power consumption. So this is still doing slightly better than even the X5. You'll see here in a second when we pull it, it is a larger machine in comparison to those two, both from Bitmain and Goldshell. But I'm liking what I see. I'm liking the fact that we're getting more hash rate for the power consumption that we're using, and it's still pushing the numbers forward. We can take a quick look here at mining status. We want to go to, let's go what to mine and type in some numbers here. Now, I'm going to leave it at the hash rate that we charge at the farm for hosting, just in comparison. And we're getting, we said 1477 mega hash, 1477, and we are using 14,000. Let's go on the high side. Let's go 14,050 just to be safe. Rather be safe than sorry when we're doing some of these calculations. All right, so there we go. There's our printout for the day. Now, it's revenue, it's pulling in $7.70. The cost to run it is about $3.83, and it's profiting almost $4 at the current price right now for Litecoin and Doge using F2 pool. Now, what to mine, if you weren't aware of it, uses F2 pool to kind of calculate a lot of their numbers. So profit-wise, we're not doing too shabby for this machine. And just for comparison's sake, let's take a look at, say, the 720 that we would be getting with an L3. And all we're going to do here is drop it 100 watts and see what we got. Yeah, L3s aren't doing too well, guys. You know, they're struggling right now. Make sure I got everything set up right. Yep, 720, about 1350. I mean, I've seen L3s run at a little bit lower, let's say 1250, and still in that range, they're using almost as much power as they're generating in crypto. If you're a crypto collector and you feel that Doge is going to hit $5 once Elon finally takes over Twitter and makes that his primary thing, where Twitter uses Dogecoin for tips or whatever it may be, whatever your conspiracy theory might be, but right now this is where we stand for the L3 and the current price of Litecoin and Dogecoin. L3s just aren't cutting it anymore, guys. So here at Coastal Crypto, the mining farm, we're looking at X5s, we're looking at the L5s, we're looking at the LT5s, and of course the L7s. We love Dogecoin, we love Litecoin, we love script mining. We do have some GPU set up here as well, but a lot of our ASIC machines are focusing on script. And the L5 is definitely a standout miner in my opinion. So I hope that makes sense for you guys a little bit in comparison to what's going on in the world of script mining and what kind of machines are available to you. Now let's jump over to the machine. I'm going to take you guys into the farm to pull it, so bear with the noise a little bit. Probably not going to talk a whole lot in this quick little segment as I show you what we got going on, and then we'll pull the machine and stick it here on the workbench and do some teardowns and see what the inside looks like. All right, guys, so right behind me, right behind this door is our main mining facility, our main mining farm, all of our racks. We do have a couple new additions to the farm. Travis's GPU rigs being one of them. He's got some awesome rack-mounted miners. I got those situated up at the top for you, Travis. It looks like they're running fairly smoothly. So I'm going to leave them there. I think they're doing well for heat-wise, and we'll take a look at what else we got going on. I want to show you guys our power supplies. So before I go in there, we have about 400 amps currently running. We have 4 separate drops for each amp at 100 amps a piece. We have 3 PDU panels that we built here at the Coastal Crypto Mining Farm that displays our power consumption, our voltage, our amperages, and so on. So we're going to take a quick look at that. We're going to take a look at our L5s. Go ahead and pull one from the rack and tear it down for you. Let's take a look at what we got going on. All right, so we got lots of stuff running, lots going on. Always something happening here at the farm. You can see our power supplies here. We got 240 or 238 volts at 65 amps on that one. Got a little bit more room amperage wise on this one, still at the 240. And then right there. So we like to stick within 80% rule. We like to stick within that 80% rule when it comes to running these panels. So there's 100 amps, so we want to go up to maybe 80 amps max when we're running our miners off of these panels. But our L5s are sitting right up here nice and cozy. We're going to go ahead and pull one. I've already pulled the power on one of them, so it's not too hot to handle. And we're going to go ahead and tear it down for you. Okay guys, so here she is. Here is the Antminer L5. It's a good sized piece of equipment. This would be probably the height of an L3. So we got 2 of them stacked up. It's not as long as an L3, but you'll see here in a second when we pull those boards out what kind of chipset we got going on. Now they are only running intake fans here on the front. There are no fans on the back. They do have a little bit of a mesh here in the back. And it looks like they have a couple little indicators knocked into that screen to kind of keep the hash boards from bouncing around. Let's go ahead and pull the fans, pull that control board, see what that looks like first before we pull the back and take a look at those hash boards. Okay, the cables are all out of the way. Again, this is a refurbished piece of equipment. I don't expect it to be perfect, but we've been getting good results from our supplier. And every time we have a new piece of equipment come in here to the Coastal Crypto Mining Farm for either ourselves or to be resold, I do my best to go through and clean the equipment thoroughly just to make sure that everything is in working order and not covered in dust and grime and everything else. All right, guys, so here you go. Here is the control board. Just like we thought at the very beginning of the video, this is an L3 control board, but it's got the firmware to run this L5. You can see here we got the L5 label model on it, and it's got a lot of the same components. Again, we're only running 2 fans for this L5, so they saved some money building this equipment, in my opinion, by using this control board and only running 2 fans for it. We still have 4 ribbon cable connectors for our hash boards, and everything else looks the same as we've gone through the L3s, the L3++ in the past. Let's go ahead and tear into the back of this and take a look at those hashing boards. Again, sheet metal screen, some laser cut holes in it. It's got notches for the hash boards. Let's go. We're only going to pull one of them. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Let's just pull this one. That is a giant hash board. That thing is huge. 172 chips. It looks really clean. I haven't done much to these boards, guys, since we've got them in. I wanted you guys to see kind of the quality of the boards that we got in from our supplier. Again, we have it stamped here at the top, L5 model. A little interesting for the power coming into it. We do have a little bit of bigger of a trace here, and that's probably because we were running 1, 2, 3 PCIe 6-pin power ports for this. It's a great looking hash board in my opinion. It's got the newer style heat sinks on it. We're not using the straight fins. It's got some more definition to them. Now, if you're not aware of this, this is the side with our ASIC chips on it. These are not the ASIC chips. The ASIC chips sit just behind these traces underneath our heat sinks. That's so that we get the best thermal transfer of heat when we're running our miners, and we get the most heat being pulled off it. It's a great looking board, very clean. It's got some interesting PCB traces here on the top for grounding, I'm assuming, or power transfer to the back half of this board. It looks like it's divided into sections here, top and bottom, but it looks really nice. I'm really happy with how it looks and how it performs. They've gone put some thought into it, considering that this is a custom made miner. It's got little notches here cut into the board that slide into slots. There's actually a, let me see here, yep, there's a metal tray here or clip in the front of this machine that locks into this board, keeping the boards from sliding up and down or back and forth. And then we saw that it locks also into the screen on the back. It's a great little machine for what it is, and considering the age of it, I'm happy with it. I'm happy with the way it performs, and I look forward to getting more of these in the farm as we try our best to replace our L3 collection, because we know that they're not profitable at the moment. Alright guys, I think that's going to wrap it up for us today. I'm going to do my best to put this thing back together, get it in the farm. I got a couple other pieces of equipment that I need to run through and do some diagnostic work on. So I'm going to let you go. If you have any questions about the L5, about the X5, about any of the miners that we are hosting or running on our site at coastalcryptomining.com, make sure you let me know. Comment down below. Join the conversation over at our Discord server. And, keep doing your best. Make that passive income. Keep working hard for it. And hopefully we'll all get there together someday. Take it easy, guys.